6 times. What? I shot him 6 times. I shot him in the heart.
Can't have gotten very far. Come on.
I shot him 6 times.
Yeah.
This guy, this man he's not human.
A John Carpenter interview with a British music magazine made news a few days ago. In this episode, we'll give you details on just what John said and share some other news about the upcoming Halloween Kills sequel. In an interview with British music magazine NME, John Carpenter talked about his new album called Lost Themes 3: Alive After Death. John also gave an insight into the possibility of Halloween Kills being released via streaming at the same time as being shown in theaters. When asked about the possibility of a simultaneous release, John said, quote, "Sure, Halloween may be shared that way because theaters are dead. It's just the reality right now, and it's a tragedy, but it's true. We just have to face it." The studio did contact David Gordon Green and I, and they had us put off the new one by a year in the hope that things would get better. So we're still hoping it will get better. So while there's no official word from Blumhouse or Universal, according to Carpenter, it does seem likely that unless the pandemic situation clears up, Halloween Kills will be released via the streaming and theatrical model. Recently, Wonder Woman 1984 was the first of the Warner Brothers films to be released that way on both HBO Max and in theaters concurrently. Warner's has plans to continue to release films in this way for the foreseeable future. Also in the interview, Carpenter hinted that for the time being, he is not interested in making films anymore, that music is his passion. When asked if he had any plans to use the music in his new album for a film, Carpenter responded, quote, "No, they're more for listeners to create the movie. What I mean by that is that you and your significant other sit alone in the dark listening to the album and start fantasizing and come up with a movie. I don't want to make the movie anymore. I want to make the music. You make the movie." Also recently, the first official trailer for Halloween Kills was released, and some additional photos have come out that give us a hint of just how Michael will escape from the fiery inferno that he was trapped in at the end of Halloween 2018. In the trailer, we see fire trucks racing to the burning house that he is trapped in. And in a photo that was released on the Empire website, we see Michael standing in the doorway holding a tool called a Halligan bar. This is it right here. A Halligan bar is a tool that firemen use to pry open doors. So putting two and two together, I guess we can figure out just how Michael escapes from the basement. If you'd like to see the official trailer, we'll have links below in the description of this video. Personally, for me, the Halloween franchise is my favorite of all the horror film franchises. I've seen every Halloween film except Rob Zombie's Halloween 2 in the theater on opening day. I'm really hopeful that this pandemic situation will drastically improve so I could feel safe going into a movie theater again to see this film on the big screen. For years now, I've been predicting that Hollywood would release films on opening day, both in streaming and in theaters. And I think the pandemic has certainly sped up that timeline. With theaters being held to limited capacities, the movie studios still need to make their money. A lot of the movies were made for release in 2020, and then the pandemic hit, and Hollywood's been holding back on these films. But we're going on a year now, and Hollywood needs to make money on their investment. We've seen a number of films held back from release. We're still waiting for the new Ghostbusters movie that was supposed to come out in 2020 that didn't come out. Halloween Kills was supposed to be released around Halloween of 2020. That's being held back an entire year. Marvel's Black Widow was being held back. Now I believe they've slated a May release for that. Movie studios still need to make their money. And with the release of the last Star Wars films, Disney increased the percentage of money that they take from a movie showing and decreased the amount of money that movie theaters were getting. And when other film companies saw that Disney did that, they followed suit. So more and more of the movie theaters and the movie theater chains were making less money. So because of that, the movie studios were squeezing the movie theaters for more and more money. And now with the pandemic set in and movie studios turning their attention to streaming, it gives the movie studios the opportunity to make even more money. because their profits on a film through streaming are higher than their profits on a film shown in a theater. So this rolls out the red carpet for the movie studios to make even more money that way. The movie studios have been wanting to do this for a while, but they were afraid that people were used to going to the theaters, and that was the main way as they first came out. But now that the pandemic set in, the movie studios are hoping that it basically retrains the movie fan to forego seeing a movie in the theaters and be more willing to pay more money to see it through a streaming service. So it's basically become like an experiment for the movie studios to see whether this is the viable way to go. I hate to say this because I love going to the theater to see a movie, but this could be the real start of the extinction of the movie theater. Just like years ago, the drive-ins died out when the multiplex movie theaters really came on strong. Now we're kind of seeing the reverse. People are shying away from going into movie theaters. There's extremely limited capacity. It was just the restrictions on capacity in a movie theater are pretty steep. In our Monster-Mania fan page group on Facebook, one of the fans was telling us that she works at a theater and they're limited to just 10% capacity. So I don't know how many businesses can really survive at capacities at those low limits. So because of the pandemic, the drive-in theater last year saw a bit of a resurgence. Whether that will continue or not, we don't know. There's not nearly as many drive-in theaters as 20 or 30 years ago, and the movie studios can't rely on just income from drive-in movie theaters for new releases. So the streaming services are giving them the opportunity to make additional income. Once the pandemic is over, I really don't think we're going to see movies released first in theaters only anymore. I think they're going to be released simultaneously in theaters and through streaming services. As much as the movie theater chains are going to fight that, I don't think they're going to win that battle. Me personally, I love going to the theater. For me, going to see a movie on opening night, there's just an electricity in the crowd that's not there like at any other time. I've seen a movie on opening night and then gone back to see it like 2 weeks later, and the experience was completely different. There's just a vibe. There's an electricity that happens when you're going on opening night. Usually the other people that are going on opening night have the same anticipation of the film that you have. So for me, there's an excitement there that can't be replaced by watching it at home on a large screen TV. But I will say, I have had my opening day or opening night movie going experiences completely ruined by other members of the audience. I've been at shows where we had people running up and down the steps all throughout the movie. I've seen people talking on their cell phones. I've seen people literally arguing with each other. I've seen people like basically mock the movie while, yelling insults up at the screen or trying to be their own comedians, much to the chagrin of everybody else in the audience. I was in the theater one time for opening night when two policemen came in while the movie's showing. Two policemen come in with a flashlight looking for a missing child. They didn't stop the film and let them search. They had them search through the theater. They put some of the lights up. I mean, it completely ruined the experience. So I understand why some people would feel that it's just not worth going to the theater anymore. It seems like the movie theater audience has certainly changed over the last 10 years or 20 years, whatever it might be. Whether they're used to watching movies at home and acting that way at home, and then they go to a movie theater and still act like they're at home. They've ruined the experience. I've talked to a lot of people that feel like going to the movies is always ruined by, some member of the audience. So I could understand why you would rather watch it on television in the privacy of your home with the lights out, with, your own microwave popcorn or whatever. But for me, I'll always take the theater experience over that. But let us know what you think in the comments below. Are you perfectly happy seeing a film on opening night in the luxury of your own home? Once this pandemic is over, whenever the hell that will be, are you still going to prefer going to see a movie in a crowded theater? Also, if you like this video, please give us a thumbs up. Be sure to subscribe so you don't miss any future content. In the meantime, keep watching horror and stay scared. Hey, horror fans. Looking for something scary to add to your collection? Stop by the Monster-Mania store and see what we have to offer. Just go to monstermania.net and click on the link at the top for the store. We've got everything a true horror fan might need. Check out our apparel for some awesome Monster-Mania hoodies, t-shirts, and beanies. Check out our horror games section, where we have the brand new Friday the 13th game, the new horror edition of Trivial Pursuit, and various other horror Monopoly and Clue games. If you're looking for a good read, pick up the latest issue of Monster-Mania magazine. And if you're looking for some great collectibles, we have everything from an assortment of Jason masks, mystery boxes, and a wide selection of hand-signed autographs from many of the top horror film and television stars. Each autograph item comes with our Monster-Mania authentication, complete with numbered, tamper-proof Monster-Mania hologram and a matching certificate of authenticity. We're also adding new items every day, so check back often.
Shop smart. Shop S-Mart. You got that?